Okay, this is for mark wall work. What I'm going to show you now. So your front of your building. Let's say that's your building there. You want it 5 metres long. You're on about putting either 1600 French doors or 2000 patio doors and dividing it into storage room. So let's say your storage room goes on that side, for instance. Right, you ask if it's 1.5 or 2 metres over a 3 metre depth, I think you said. But if your room's deep like that and you put that door on that front, then once you start putting stuff in there, you can't get to the back of the store. So what you need to do really is put the door on the side, open the door out, and then it gives you access to all the store area. So that's that part anyway. So if you're going to put 1600 French doors on, let's say your French doors go there, right, then what I would be doing, I would be building this stud wall here, but there I would build the wall lower. So basically what I would do is build a stud like that, as such, and again, one like that on the other side. Excuse the drawing, it's crap. And then there, as the lintel, I would double up a 5x2 timber to span over the door, so that when you put your roof on, it stops any sag. Again, especially if you're going to put 2 metre patio doors, same scenario, but I mean 2 metres, I'd definitely double up a timber, out bigger than that, 2.5 up to 3, going bigger than that. I'd definitely put a box section steel in, which we put in, and that is 160 by 80. So that's that. What I'll explain to you now is you asked about 3x2 and 4x2 and why we use them. So imagine that's your stud in your wall. That's your plasterboard. That's your OSB on the outside, and that there is a slate batten and a slate batten which will carry your cladding. So let's say your cladding goes on there like that. That then makes up your wall. So this space here, if that's 3x2, then you're only left with like a little 10mm air gap there. So we use 4x2 because then you're left with like a 50mm. So that's insulation there. You're left with then like a 50mm air gap, which if you bear in mind, air is also an insulator as well. So when you cut out your plasterboard back box, it will sit in there and you won't have to cut into the insulation. And you'll also have this air insulator there as well. Don't forget to put your vapour barrier on the inside there. So as far as the doors makeup is concerned, I'll just show you that again. So that's your timber, 4x2 or 3x2, whatever you decide to use in the end. That's your plasterboard. That's your OSB, 11mm, and they're your slate lats, which will carry your cladding to the outside. So you're then left with this section here. Now, doors and windows, there's 70mm as standard. So especially if you're going to use 3x2, but what we normally do is we'll put the door, so that this is the door section there, and that will sit that back so it's flush with the plasterwork there. But you've got to make sure that your sill overhangs. So that's the frame, that's the sill. The sill overhangs the cladding, because otherwise you're going to have an issue there. If it doesn't, and you pull the door that way, but if you do it this way, then when you fix that through there into that timber, then here you put your skirting board on like that, and then your architrave will sit over the joint between the frame and the plasterboard there. Again on the outside, so I'll just try and draw it again for you now. There's your timber, there's your plasterboard, there's your OSB. Right, so then you've got there's your, slate lats. There's your cladding. Right, so we've put a door there. This is the side of our door frame. Then what we'll do, so we've clad up to the side, and then we will cut a piece of cedar down and infill that there. So we'll have a little cedar reveal as well. So that'll be cedar. That's your cedar cladding there. And then this bit here, where the reveal meets the cedar cladding, we then put an architrave over the joint there. So that'll then cover that as well. Now, traditionally, architraves are mitered as such, but because it's outside and it's wood, it is going to open. So what we tend to do is we'll put the leg on, put the other leg on, and then the head will carry it square on top like that, stick it over 10mm each side, and that's what we'll do for his architrave, because if that opens up that gap there, it's not going to look anything as bad as when that opens up, because that'll look a dog, whereas that looks spot on. And that's it basically. What else was as well? There's just one more thing that you asked as well about roof timbers and why we start and where we do. So if you're looking down from above, and that's your building there, and your pitch is going that way, so that's the front. and it's going that way, so the picture's going that way. So if that's your building, so our first one, let me just draw the walls there, and then I'll give you a better idea of why I'm doing this. So that's the top of the timber frame walls as you're looking down on them. So our first roof timber, we then sit it just to the side of the wall. That there, when you look underneath then, when you plasterboard that will give you a fixing of the plasterboard before it hits the wall. And then we drop the rest in at 400s. So let's say they've all gone 400 centres there. And then the last one, I mean, the chances are it's never going to work out at 400. So you get your less 400, and then as long as it's less than 400, we'll drop the last one there next to that wall as well. So when you look from that underside, you can physically screw the plasterboard all the way around there, and you're not going to have no flapping edges. And then what we do then, we drop a timber on the back. I tend to let it hang over like that. And then we'll also drop one on the front, again letting it hang over like that. And then we work out our roof overhang on the side. We'll drop another one in there to account for that roof overhang, and we'll put some noggins across there, which will be supported off that wall to stop that sagging. Then we cut that bit off there, cut that bit off there. Same again on this side. That will there create our roof overhang. Noggins to stop it sagging. They will be then propped off the wall. Chop that bit off there, chop that off there, and then depending on the span of the roof, you'll want a series of noggins going across the roof like that. And that's basically your roof structure.